In what can only be described as a devastating human tragedy, the province of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa has been struck by one of the worst flood disasters in recent memory. A sudden and powerful cloudburst triggered flash floods that swept through multiple towns, wiping out homes, roads, and entire communities in a matter of hours. The destruction has left tens of thousands of people stranded, with rescue operations stretched to their limits as officials scramble to provide relief to the affected. The scenes coming from KP are nothing short of heart-wrenching, as families grieve their losses, survivors search through rubble for loved ones, and authorities brace for even more challenges in the coming days. Witnesses describe how the sky darkened without warning as torrential rain poured down in unprecedented volumes. Within minutes, rivers swelled beyond capacity and water gushed into low-lying areas. Villages that stood firm for generations were reduced to ruins, and in some districts, entire neighborhoods have been completely washed away. Local officials have confirmed widespread infrastructural collapse, bridges have been destroyed, power lines have fallen, and communication has been severely disrupted. Emergency management authorities say the hardest-hit areas are those situated near mountain slopes and riverbanks, where water levels rose rapidly due to the sheer force of the cloudburst. Residents recount harrowing tales of being caught unprepared as the floods tore through their homes, giving them little to no time to escape. Many describe grabbing their children, wading through neck-deep water, and clinging to anything they could find just to survive. For countless others, survival was tragically not possible. According to preliminary reports, hundreds of homes have been damaged beyond repair, while thousands of others are partially destroyed. Entire families are displaced and forced into makeshift camps set up by local authorities and humanitarian agencies. However, the scale of the disaster has overwhelmed available resources. Food shortages, lack of clean drinking water, and inadequate shelter are compounding the suffering of those already traumatized. The human cost of this disaster continues to rise. Hospitals in affected districts are overflowing with injured people, and doctors are working around the clock despite facing shortages of medical supplies. With roads blocked and transport systems crippled, it has been difficult to bring in aid from other regions. Helicopters have been deployed for aerial rescue missions, but stormy weather and rough terrain have made their operations perilous. Local communities have stepped in with extraordinary acts of bravery, pulling neighbors out of floodwaters, providing shelter, and forming rescue chains to save stranded villagers. Environmental experts warn that the devastating floods are a grim reminder of the growing risks linked to climate change and poor infrastructure planning. They say that cloudbursts, sudden, intense downpours, are becoming more frequent and severe in Pakistan, particularly in northern and hilly regions like KP. As the monsoon season intensifies, the threat of further floods looms large. Climate scientists stress the urgent need for early warning systems, better urban planning, and stronger flood defenses to prevent such catastrophes from becoming the new normal. Government officials have vowed immediate action. The Chief Minister of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa has declared a state of emergency and called for urgent assistance from the federal government, military, and international partners. The Prime Minister has also expressed deep sorrow over the tragedy, promising that no effort will be spared in relief and rehabilitation. Teams from the National Disaster Management Authority and the Pakistan Army are already on the ground, conducting rescue operations and delivering aid where possible. Meanwhile, humanitarian organizations, both local and international, are mobilizing to provide relief to survivors. Tents, blankets, food rations, and medical supplies are being rushed to camps, but aid workers admit that the scale of need is far greater than current provisions. Children and the elderly remain particularly vulnerable, with reports emerging of widespread trauma and mental distress among those who have lost their homes and loved ones. The economic cost of this disaster is also staggering. Agriculture in KP has taken a massive hit, with crops destroyed and livestock drowned. Roads, schools, and health facilities will require extensive reconstruction. Analysts predict that rebuilding efforts will take months, if not years, and will require significant financial resources. For a province already struggling with economic challenges, the floods could deepen poverty and hardship. Survivors are now pleading for urgent help. "We have lost everything. Our homes, our belongings, our loved ones," said one resident from a flood-hit village. "All we want is safe shelter and food for our children. Please do not forget us." These words echo across the devastated towns, where grief is mixed with a deep fear of what comes next. As images and videos of the disaster flood social media, the international community is taking notice. Calls for global solidarity are growing, with aid organizations urging wealthier nations and donors to step forward. In a world increasingly grappling with extreme weather events, many see this disaster as part of a broader crisis that requires urgent global attention. The resilience of the people of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, however, shines through even in this darkest hour. Communities are uniting, neighbors are supporting one another, and local volunteers are risking their lives to save others. But without swift and sustained assistance, both at home and abroad, the suffering is likely to worsen. Tonight, as rescue workers battle against time and survivors huddle in makeshift shelters, the story of KP's flood disaster is one of immense tragedy but also of remarkable courage. The coming days will be critical not only for saving lives but also for laying the foundation of long-term recovery and resilience. For now, Pakistan mourns with Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, standing in solidarity with those who have lost everything. This is more than just a natural disaster, it is a human crisis that demands compassion, action, and above all, hope.